Speaker Pelosi, which I'm told I can still call you, which feels more natural if that's okay. Speaker Pelosi, there's something else I want to get your response to. And again, it is a minority of the Republicans that we're talking about, not a majority of them. Yeah. But there was heckling like I've never really heard at a State of the Union address. Let's play.
So why am I not surprised that Jake Tapper is going to interview Pelosi after Biden's speech full of lies? After all, Jake Tapper is one of the wokest journalists, so-called journalists there is out there. He does work for CNN. CNN covers up every single truth that's put out there because it's all Russian disinformation. It's all lies. So he asked drunk Nancy, and in my opinion, she was hammered. Just listen to her talking. Asked her what she thought about the heckling that was going on at the State of the Union, which I loved every minute of it because that's what Joe Biden deserves, is heckling. Because if he's not talking to you, he's yelling at you. So they should heckle him because he's burnt out. I mean, I don't know how many times I have to say that. But here's what Nancy thought about the heckling during the speech of lies. Have a look.
What did you think of the heckling?
I think that they were protesting too much. They knew that they have been identified as putting Medicare and Social Security on the table, and they were trying to dismiss that. But the fact is, it still is part of who they are. They never really supported it to begin with, but rather than go into that, as we go forward, the president has said, how do you intend to lift the debt ceiling, reduce the national debt? Tell us what your programs are. And up until now, they have been talking about it. And so this was sort of showbiz.
Mm-hmm. It didn't bother you, though, the lack of decorum?
No. Well, actually, they were, for them, fairly well behaved from what we see every day of the week in the House of Representatives, unfortunately.
Yeah. What did you think of that?
Well, first of all, let me just say thank you for the opportunity to say how great I think the president was tonight. I mean, what do we want in a president? We want judgment. We want values. We want knowledge. Therefore, judgment springing from that. And we want connection to the American people. We want a hopeful message, and that's what he gave us. President Lincoln, you've heard me say, he said, public sentiment is everything. With it, you can accomplish almost anything. Without it, practically nothing. So the message has to go to the American people. This is what the choices are: chaos or stability. And they have demonstrated how chaotic they can be from the first day.
So, of course, she wasn't surprised by it, which I don't think anyone was surprised by it, because what else would you expect from politicians who are there to do something good, and you got the so-called president telling fib after fib? Come on. And again, Nancy was so hammered that she probably didn't even hear the noise because she was in her own world. But she just wanted to thank them for the opportunity to come on and tell everybody how wonderful the president's speech was. After all, people want a president with judgment, good morals, a lot of knowledge, and connections to the people. We know Joe Biden has no good judgment because he let his kid travel all over the world and commit crimes for him. Another reason, he has no morals, because if you recall, the diary of his daughter was found, and it's alleged that he used to bathe with her even into her teen years. I'm not making it up. You can research it yourself. Knowledge, I think that's been gone for probably 30 years, if in fact he ever had any, because we all know his educational background was a complete lie. All the lies about law school and finishing at the top of his class, all lies. And a connection to the people of the United States. The only connections Joe Biden has with people are connections in China, connections in Ukraine, and connections in whatever other country that him and his crime family were dealing with. He's got no connection with the American people because we know he's full of crap. We know all he does is lie. And we know that he's been nothing but a criminal his entire career. So there's no connection to us. It's a connection to the crimes that he's committed with all these people all over the world. But he had to bring up the attack on Paul Pelosi. Oh, the attack. The attacker was looking for Nancy, and he went to that house, and he was going to stay there until she came home. Well, here's what he had to say about that fiasco. Have a look at this.
And then just a few months ago, an unhinged big lie assailed and unleashed a political violence, the home of the then Speaker of the House of Representatives, using the very same language the insurrectionists used as they stalked these halls and chanted on January 6th. Here tonight in this chamber is a man who bears the scars of that brutal attack, but is as tough and as strong, as resilient as they get. My friend Paul Pelosi. Paul, stand up.
Yeah, so he had to bring it up that his boy, Big Paulie, was attacked by that lunatic. And you heard him. Big Paulie's as strong as they come and resilient as they come. And he was probably as drunk as Nancy was. And then you saw Nancy talking to herself while Biden was talking. So he had to bring up the great insurrection. And then he had to bring up the attack on Big Paulie Pelosi. Now, this is after Nancy had all the information from the inside so they could sell all their stock options and make millions before Biden destroyed something else. We all know that's true. But then sitting next to Big Paulie, Bono of U2, the hell is he doing there? Other than he's another woke liberal and he does nothing else. U2 hasn't been around in forever. And if you like U2, that's fine. I happen to not like their music, but if you like them, that's good. Good for you. But Bono, what the hell does he got to do with anything? They love bringing these woke celebrities around to say, look who supports us, all the millionaires. They love what we're doing here. When we really know that Big Paulie opened the door with the attacker when the police arrived. We all saw those video clips. We know that Big Paulie had a drink in his hand when he came to the door. So what's the big lie, Joe? Joe said it was a big lie. Is the big lie that Paulie actually invited this guy over and things got out of hand? Or is the big lie that he was there going after Nancy? I think that's the big lie, that he was there going after Nancy. Because Paulie called the police and told them he knew the guy. Paulie opened the door with the guy with a drink in his hand. It's all lies. It's all lies. And listening to Pelosi talk, trying to talk while keeping her dentures in and hammered. She was definitely drunk. I'm sorry, she was drunk. Telling us how wonderful her crime partner, Joe Biden, was last night is a disgrace to this country. She has been a disgrace every single minute she spent in the House of Representatives and as Speaker of the House. As a matter of fact, do you think it's a coincidence that the day of the great insurrection, she just happened to have her daughter and a film crew there to film a documentary? Do you really believe that that was just a coincidence? Oh no, they knew what was happening. They were involved in it. That's why Pelosi didn't get the National Guard involved, because she wanted it to be documented for her big film debut that her daughter was going to record. They are all no good. They're all criminals. They're all liars. We didn't have to see Big Paulie. We all know about it. But you remember the drunk driving accident he got into? Did you ever hear that they ended up buying the guy he hit drunk a brand new car? Do we ever hear of a settlement? No, it all went away. It all got swept under the rug, especially from the mainstream media. Guys like Jake Tapper, how dare you talk about the Pelosi's? And if Jake Tapper had his genitals taped any tighter during that interview, he would have been squealing. His voice would have been so much higher. He's nothing but a simp, and he's simping for attention from Nancy Pelosi. These people are a disgrace to our country. CNN, MSNBC, all their cover-ups, all their censorship, and all their lies. And Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi and Big Paulie and Bono are all involved in it. So that's all. I just had to show you Nancy's rebuttal, if you will, to Uncle Joe's speech, because of course she was going to praise him, when we all know it's nothing but bullshit, and that's all they're going to ever continue to spew is bullshit. So thanks for watching. If you haven't liked this video, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification bell. Share this video with somebody. I appreciate that. Hope everybody's healthy and safe, and I'll see you soon. Have a great night.